3, 4. We'll check. On Wednesday, the Titans snapped a season-worst 8-game losing skid, beating the St. John Riptide in convincing fashion. After 3 days off, they're right back at it, but taking on the best team in the Central Division, the London Lightning. Good afternoon, and come on inside the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. Ian Jodry and Dan Polishchuk here with you for some matinee basketball between the Titans and Lightning. KW, of course, already out of playoff contention, have not defeated London since January last year, but the Lightning missing their reigning MVP in Royce White today.
They are, due to that suspension he garnered after that game against the Highlanders. A 3-point loss in overtime for the London Lightning in a game that maybe slipped through their fingers just a little bit. I have to give full credit to the Highlanders for doing what they had to do to pull away and clinch that that win in the extra frame. As for the KW Titans, they're coming into this one feeling pretty good in a season that's been full of its fair share of ups and downs, and really double the reason why they're feeling good is not only the win on Wednesday night, but also their head coach, Cavell Johnson, picking up his first career coaching win, and I guess all on top of that, his alma mater, UMBC, pulling off that huge 16-1 upset over Virginia.
The Titans going from right to left on your screens at home, wearing their special camouflage jerseys today. The Lightning left to right, their gold with black trim. 3-2 Lightning early on after the triple from Ryan Anderson. Derek Hall leaves it. Justin Hurt pulls up for the long two, but won't go. The Titans coming off an upset loss of their own, as you mentioned, the Cape Breton Highlanders the other night in overtime. That led to the suspension of Royce White.
Yeah, after he had some choice words, I suppose, for Deputy Commissioner Audley Stevenson, who was sitting courtside. He was teed up, and due to the accumulation of technical fouls, he was assessed a 1-game suspension for this afternoon's ball game.
Hurt in trouble, has to go all the way across to Sutherland, lost it. And the Lightning, their airtight defense, forces the first turnover of the afternoon.
They certainly have that capability, as they've proven throughout the season, to play that lockdown defense.
Bolden lost it, recovers though, and an easy bucket for Herring Jr. The Titans did what they needed there to force the errant pass, but Jr. left unmarked. 7-2 London. They have 7 unanswered points. Hall in the post, backing in on Mo Bolden. One of the key matchups whenever these two teams face off, but forces the miss that time.
Well, Bolden was the man who the Lightning thought had a block late in the game, which resulted in the foul that then turned into points for the Highlanders. And he had himself a good ball game, but in that instance, some frustrations, but they're able to get the Lightning going.
What a game that was. Fouled Bruce Massey Jr. finished 3 assists and 4 steals, shy of a quadruple-double in that one.
Some numbers.
To go along with Royce White's 40-plus point, 20-plus rebound effort. But sideline today, 9-2 London early. Anderson, Williamson, Johnson thought about it. Bolden has to put up the corner 3 and still drops it in as the shot clock expires. A 12-0 run by the Lightning, and Cavell Johnson calls timeout. same 5 back on for both sides, but Tremar Sutherland in the lineup as well. Struggled last game, but takes the inbound pass and dishes over to Duncan. Cavell Johnson forced a call timeout after London had a 12-0 run. Sutherland entry pass. Derek Hall backing in, draws a double team, forces out to Morrow. The 3, no good. Hall bats it away, long rebound. Morrow grabs it underneath and the bucket.
Oh, nice little fake dish there from Morrow. Looked to his right, held onto it, and laid it in for 2. KW Titans, though, have to realize there's going to be an extra man open, especially with doubling down on Derek Hall down low. Have to be ready to square up and shoot quickly, because these Lightning defenders, they'll get up on you super quick.
That one goes off Mo Bolden's foot and out of bounds, so Titans get the ball back, and a foul away from the play.
Foul on Lightning number 9, Doug Herring.
That one's on Doug Herring Jr., the first foul for either side today.
KW's win on the 14th, broken season-long 8-game losing streak, so they'll be looking at a piece now back-to-back wins. Yet to do that this season.
Morrow for 3, it's good. 5 unanswered now from Morrow. It's 12-7. Herring uses the screen from Bolden up top. Williamson tries to cross his way inside, out to Herring for 3, rattles it in.
Doug Herring Jr., 3.
Another 3-ball for the Lightning. Now perfect, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc to start off this ball game.
Sutherland's entry pass for Hall intercepted. Herring going the other way, and he draws the foul. Trip to the free throw line for Herring, fresh off that 3.
Foul on the Titans, number 12, Greg Morrow, his team's first.
On the season, Herring an 81% free throw shooter. He's now started 24 of the Lightning's 26 games this season.
Averaging 15.5 points a game and shooting just over 50% from the field. Good offensive option for the Lightning all season long.
Here's Darren Duncan. Trying to cross over up top. Finds Sutherland in the corner, but Sutherland lost the handle. It'll be the 3rd turnover already for KW. A double-digit Lightning lead, and we're just hitting the 5-minute mark.
Hot pass for Tremar Sutherland to try and handle. Slightly behind him, too. And Duncan getting the start today because of Ed Horton out due to a hip injury he suffered in that previous ball game for KW. Fell awkwardly, and it turns out that he's got a bit of a hip contusion that he's dealing with now.
Sutherland, the 3 won't go.
So he's tried practicing through it, made it slightly worse. So now they've totally shut him down. He's kind of considered day-to-day at this point as he tries to heal up quickly, just as he was turning things around big time and produced some good games as of late.
Sutherland fouled hard, got a hand up high from Bolden. That'll be his first foul of the day.
His first team's second.
Ed Horton, the former London Lightning, enjoyed a career-high 36-point night last week.
Sutherland, just a 61% free throw shooter this year, goes 1 for 2 that time around. Herring, a good start for him, leaves it for Bolden to drive and draws the foul. Looks like it's going to go on Derek Hall, and it's his first foul of the day.
And certainly encourage you all tuning in live on YouTube on the stream. Use that comment section to give us your thoughts, feedback, and prognosis on how the ball game is going. We love to interact when we're available to do so throughout the stream, and certainly send us your thoughts on Twitter at Dan Polshik and at Ian Jodry is where you can find us there, and already getting some commentary from the likes of Mo Delacoste. Always great to hear from Mo from the London Free Press, and certainly making a valid point of Doug Herring Jr. being one of the most underrated players in the league. I couldn't agree more.
And Herring's been around the league for some time now. Of course, was with the St. John Riptide, then Millrats when they won their only Atlantic Division title in the regular season. And has been in London and an instrumental part of their team since coming over. 21-8. Another scorching start for the Lightning. Just across the midway point of this first quarter.
And just some good basketball IQ right there. Anticipation being shown by Herring Jr. stepping into the passing lane as that pass was attempted to be delivered to Ahmad Starks coming off the bench here for KW. And that's another guy that's really kind of fit into that role coming off the bench. And we saw it again the other night when he went a perfect 5 for 5 to start off, and up the first half 6 for 7, and a number of those were three-pointers too. He can hit it from all over the floor.
Hall hits the difficult step-back jumper, but Williamson, the transition lamp on the other end, a substitution for the Lightning. Marcus Capers checking into the ball game, and so was Julian Boyd. Slips on the jersey right as he walks onto the floor. He was off to the locker room after tip-off, but only in for a few minutes and on the floor for his first rotation of the day. Sutherland. Here's Hall. He's washed by Boyd defensively. Hall takes it back up top. Sutherland, 3 to shoot. Inside to Hall. Pass was tipped away by Boyd. Morrow got it back, so possession did not change. As a shot clock violation. The Lightning just swarming the Titans defensively right now.
It's going to be Anthony Miles coming in for the Titans here. But in that instance, I thought Sutherland had a good look to let that floater go, but instead decided to attempt to dish it off from Morrow to his right. Didn't work out as the seconds were ticking away on the shot clock.
Herring, the bullet pass down low for Capers, but standing his ground was Hall. Morrow end to end and lays it in.
Morrow having himself a good start to this ball game. 4 points since the timeout.
Williamson pulls up for the long 2 and rattles it in. And it seems every time the Titans score, this London side has an answer for them. At least that's been the case so far. 25-12, 8 minutes into quarter number 1. And Anthony Miles getting his first touch of the day. Down low to Hall. Hall backing in on Boyd. Outside, Morrow for 3, short. Herring draws the double team, then works it for Williamson. Williamson backing in on Starks. It's a big size mismatch. Then Boyd left open for the long 2.
Really no response here from KW in terms of a defensive stop. As the Lightning really just having their way with their offensive sets at the moment.
Miles throws up the 3, but misses. Herring for 3, no good, but the long rebound into the hands of Julian Boyd and a fresh 24 for London.
I just have to appreciate from a fan standpoint just how much confidence and flow their offense really goes. But that circus shot, maybe not the best idea in that instance.
It looked like he slipped. Herring a little bit slower getting up, appears to be all right. Starks misses the transition 3. And back the other way, an open drive for Herring, and he'll head to the line for 2.
And that, a better approach there. Keeps it simple, goes up strong, and draws the harm. And he'll head to the free throw line again. It'll be Williams Jr. to check in here for the Lightning.
Kirk Williams Jr. appearing in his 34th game this season. Garrett Williamson heads off. Herring, no good on the first.
Well, for KW to be successful here today, they need their bench to really contribute. It did in that win to break the 8-game losing skid, and by a resounding difference. But again, taller task against one of the elite teams in the entire league, a team that's looking to overtake Halifax yet for that #1 overall spot.
London coming in a game back of Halifax for their #1 seed in the league. The Edge still, of course, in chase for #1 in the Central, but based on how the Lightning are playing, it seems difficult to imagine any team knocking them off their throne atop the division.
Well, considering the success they just even had against the KW Titans, had their number since last year. That winning streak into double digits, well known around these circles.
If you ask Keith Vassell or anyone in the Lightning front office, they're telling you they're taking it one game at a time. You know, they want to finish off the regular season strong and, you know, not look ahead, take it one series at a time in the playoffs, one game at a time. But realistically, for a franchise like this with such high expectations and such high respectability, they're looking ahead at getting home court advantage throughout the playoffs and assuring that they have it in case they end up meeting Halifax again in the finals.
Well, that level of execution expectation really is a trickle down, because you had Coach Elliot Etherington stepping in for Coach Vassell during his one-game suspension, and he really put the onus on himself for just not being as prepared as he should have been, or even preparing the team as much as he would have liked, and putting that loss squarely on his shoulders. So not only does that exemplify some leadership, but again, that expectation of winning each game out. That certainly is the theme with everyone, including the coaching staff and the players.
Titer misses the difficult shot, then pulls down the rebound, and second effort, no good. With that, Morrow checks out. Kyle Arsenault gets his first minutes of the afternoon. Martin Dixon Green and Ashton Smith also into the game for London. Williams Jr. spinning inside and laying it in. Kirk Williams Jr. his first bucket of the day. And London 30 points already.
Wow, they've had their way in this first quarter. You couldn't ask for more. And you can tell they're playing a little like they want some redemption, essentially, is the way I want to put it.
Smith outside. Dixon Green transition three won't go. Hurt trying to go coast to coast, leaves it for Titer inside. Loose ball on the floor, and Dixon Green grabs the.
Titer certainly wasn't ready to receive that pass. With how hard Hurt was taking it to the rack, you'd almost expect him to go straight up.
Starks, the jumper, puts it in.
There's a partial screen there from Titer. And we've seen Starks hit his fair share of shots from that spot and that distance.
Smith the drive, easy lane, and puts it home. Looked like Titer tried for the last second rotation but couldn't get over in time.
I couldn't use a better word than easy. That's exactly what that instance was for the Lightning and really for the team in general in this quarter. Just 14 points for the KW Titans. Their defense has to step it up big time if they want to have any thought of coming back in today's ball game.
Starks pump fakes, step back three is gonna get stuck. That's a held ball, and it's gonna go to KW.
So 8.7 seconds on the clock, and it's actually gonna be a London ball.
So they're gonna call the shot clock violation instead of a held ball, which they originally signaled for.
Yeah, it didn't quite leave Starks' hands soon enough before that buzzer sounded.
So 8.7 seconds left in the first, which means shot clock is off and London can do even more damage. What's already an 18-point lead. Ashton Smith lost it, so they won't get a shot off to end the first. For total domination in the first 12 minutes. London 32, KW 14. 6 turnovers for the Titans in that first quarter. That was a big reason London was able to score 32. Miles, a nice dunk. This thing started the right way in this second quarter for KW.
Well, London really dominating a number of categories, amongst them shooting a gaudy 56.5% from the field, 3 for 6 from beyond the arc. But they're also doing it on the defensive end, 15 boards to KW's 9, as that shot is missed and the Titans move up 4.
Dominic Phillips in the game, leaves it on the paint for Nigel Titer in the lane.
Well, it's really just a matter of playing with some more pride, and I'm sure that was hammered home by head coach Cavell Johnson. KW coming out absolutely flat, as the London Lightning had their way with them in that opening quarter.
Mo Bolden also back into the game. Up top, the baseline feed for Garrett Williamson. What a pass, what a finish.
It was pretty all around for the Lightning.
Kyle Arsenault still in the game, leaves it for Phillips up top with 8 to shoot. Phillips washed by Williams, rolls off the screen from Titer, and off balance 2 is off the mark. And it's Williamson who grabs the rebound. Use it for Kirk Williams Jr. Tries to spin off Kyle Arsenault, throws it high off the glass, but won't fall. Miles in transition, little Euro step, and the big rejection from Bolden. Sends that one back where it came from. Leads to Smith the other way in transition, but misses. And Williamson grabs the loose ball and hits the turnaround.
That all again starts on the defensive end for the London Lightning. A big-time swat from Bolden, averaging just shy of a block a game, so he's right up there in that statistical category, but a nice one in that instance.
Nigel Titer, 5 to shoot, backing in on Bolden, and another rejection for Bolden.
Well, it's just all very predictable there for Titer, as that was slow developing, and Bolden almost able to just set up to go for that swat. Helps with the timing, getting up and getting all ball, as that one was directed with emphasis into the first row of seats.
Phillips to inbound with 2 to shoot. Sutherland has to let it fly, and he didn't.
Again, it's just awareness, and it isn't here for KW. That's the second time already tonight we've seen the shot clock expire on them. Have to be aware and cut down on those mistakes.
Smith tries to roll off that screen from Williams. Bounce pass to him. Finds its way back out to Anderson.
That was poked away there. Good step in by the Titans.
Anderson with 5 to shoot. Can't give him any room at all. He throws it up at the last second, and the miss.
Yeah, a bit of a prayer there as he rushed. He had another 2 seconds. He probably would have had time to square up and let go of a better looking shot, but KW's not worrying about it.
Phillips, the swing pass inside for Hall. Steps back into the corner. Wide open look for Sutherland to 3, but misses. A long rebound to Hall, though, and a fresh 24 for the Titans. Sutherland, the pump fake. Bolden on him, and another rejection. Mo Bolden, the block party in the second quarter. That's his 3rd.
Oh, that defense just ruthless, so quick, and you see the collapse on Sutherland. He's going 1-on-3, and ultimately could have been 1-on-4 at the end of the day. Not even biting on one of those pump fakes he was throwing up, and then eventually the swat, the 3rd of the game for Bolden already.
Phillips to inbound. It's Duncan on the outside. Hall, the step back, and rattles it in.
Nice little fadeaway J from Derek Hall as he tries to get his team going here.
Anderson, Bolden drives a little behind the back pass. They work it around. Herring, the left-hand drive, swings it inside. Williamson, and a late foul call.
Yeah, it's the Titans that didn't like it. Dominic Phillips with a look of frustration on his face, but even though that whistle came a little late, clear cut to us and our vantage point here as Williams was cut on the arm. Garrett Williamson, 6 points. And his first free throw attempt right there. It's good.
Good on number 1 on the year, Williamson. second best scorer on the team, just under 19 points per game. He goes 1 for 2 that time around.
They just got quality depth all up and down that roster. As Arsenault seeing some early minutes here today, and that turnover, that's another for KW as they're nearing double digits, and we're not even done the first half. And it was Darren Duncan forced to take the foul.
Duncan picks up the second team foul for the Titans. London still with none here, about 3.5 minutes into the second quarter. Williamson swings it to Bolden. Nice ball movement, open look. Johnson, the three won't fall.
That's a break for KW. He had all day to set up for that shot.
Duncan, little crossover, works in the corner, then back out for Phillips. Draws the double team. The defense gets caught a little overzealous, and it leads to a Sutherland three in the corner.
Well, there we see again, ball movement is going to be so key for KW. They have to be accurate with their passes, and that time they were. Another turnover this time for the Lightning.
Sutherland, end to end, can't get the roll.
He's got to finish those ones. At this level, have to be hitting those clear-cut lay-ins.
A beautiful play by Arsenault. He was the last defender on a 2-on-1 and forces the turnover. Phillips drive out to Duncan, open three, short.
That's some nice vision, though, from Dominic Phillips finding Duncan as he was able to have the defense collapse in on him.
That time, Arsenault pokes it away cleanly again. There was a chance for Phillips to grab it on the baseline, but it'll stay London basketball.
Some free-flowing pace has picked up here, and we went end-to-end for a couple moments. Entertaining to see from a fan's perspective, but for head coaches, you don't necessarily want to be running up and down the floor like that.
Anderson for three. It's good. Missed the first one, wide open on the second, and it's a 17-point Lightning lead.
And frustrations again coming to the surface for the likes of the veteran Darren Duncan as he slams that ball against the padding after that latest bucket for the Lightning.
Morrow, the drive, scoops it underneath the hall, had it swatted away by Doug Herring Jr., and that'll be his second foul.
The Lightning are complaining that the charge should have been called on Morrow as he collided with Bolden, but I'm not too sure about that. The pass is a good one from the London native over to Hall, who got hit on the arm.
All too strong on the first. On the season, the big man shooting 78% from the stripe. Puts in the second. Herring for three. Won't go. Duncan trying to go coast to coast, but drifts back out to the corner. It's Phillips. Hall, the straightaway three. Short.
We saw him hit one during the midweek game. Certainly can from time to time, and he does so, and that three's put back by Hall in the Lightning favor, though.
Phillips gets set in the half court, drives on Bolden, big size mismatch, and misses the layup. Sutherland, second chance inside, also misses.
Yeah, that extra dribble cost him.
Anderson shovel pass to Bolden, no foul called, and now they get the whistle.
And neither team doing a good job of protecting the basketball at this point.
It was actually Garrett Williamson after the Titans had possession.
And Bolden had it jarred loose, and then as they were about set to break away, KW likely had numbers going that way offensively and elected to take the foul.
Morrow down low to Hall. Backing in on Bolden. The fadeaway blocked. 4 blocks for Mo Bolden in the second quarter.
This could be an all-star performance here today.
Williamson inside the miss. The follow-up is good.
Now that's a tough spot for Derek Hall to be in. He needs some help defense to collapse. Did well to get his arm straight up, but then once he took some contact, his momentum carrying him out of bounds, and the Lightning player able to just simply put it back with no one else to contend with.
Duncan into the corner. Sutherland, three, good. Jamar Sutherland stops the bleeding. It's a 16-point game. Well, London.
And as they do, the Lightning try to kill in momentum. It might be going KW's way by calling a timeout. 5:10 left to go here in the first half in Kitchener.
Back to the action, and it's London ball. Johnson to Boyd. Trying to back in on Sutherland, runs him over. It looks like they're going to call a blocking foul, and they will.
Yeah, this quarter certainly hasn't been as sharp as the opening one, scoring-wise, that is, as KW has a slight edge in the category, 12-10, with just under 5 minutes to go now, and London not running and gunning like they did when putting up 32 in the first. But really the story for me, Mo Bolden in this quarter, 4 blocks in this frame alone. He's got all the team's blocks, in fact. KW with 5, but spread out a bit more. The London Lightning, though, is shooting just 26%, as this has allowed maybe KW to chip away just a little bit.
Denzel James into the game. The block leaks out, but the pass goes off his fingertips and out of bounds, so back to the Lightning.
It's ice cold coming off the bench. Maybe some blocks of ice there on his hands as he tried to gathering in that pass. It was a good one. Caught him in stride. Just couldn't handle it.
Anderson lost it, and the second straight turnover for London with a kick ball as Williamson is able to get in the way. Marcus Caper is going to check in.
KW just 2 of 14 from beyond the arc, as they've really had nothing going inside, and they've gone to their fallback, but that clearly isn't clicking either.
Williamson that time jumps the passing lane, leaves it for Johnson, and the lay-in.
Yeah, just a bit too much hang time on that lob pass inside for Hall. He's trying to gather it in with the one hand, but again, some good anticipation by Williamson, stepping in aggressively and turning it into points at the other end. Foul down low here on the aforementioned Hall now.
Hall a nice find as James found him in the paint unmarked. Boyd the reach-in, playing no layup defense, and Hall will have a chance at the line. Kirk Williams Jr. checking into the ball game as Williamson heads off.
In this ball game here in Kitchener, one of 3 going on this afternoon across the NBL of Canada. Island Storm and Cape Breton going head-to-head. In a tightly contested affair, it's the Highlanders up by 1 at last check early in the 4th, and the #1 overall Halifax Highlanders, Hurricanes rather, taking on the St. John Riptide, and expectedly the Hurricanes up big on the Riptide, 67-55. That's late in the 3rd.
Baseline jumper from Johnson is good. He's got back-to-back jumpers now. Duncan over to Sutherland. Blows by Williams Jr., puts up the difficult shot, won't go. Hall the offensive rebound, back out tomorrow, and it'll stay with KW.
A good job by Capers just to get a paw in the passing lane at the last split second, as Morrow turned out to be the only option to bail out his teammate. Capers recognized that and did what he had to do. Now Hurt to inbound with Morrow heading off.
Hall leaves it for Hurt, and the reverse finish. The dime from Hall, and then nice finish from Justin Hurt.
And the first basket of the night for Justin Hurt, who had over 20 points, one of 3 Titans on Wednesday. In fact, he tied for the game high.
Boyd from the outside puts it in. Julian Boyd, and it's the biggest lead of the game for the Lightning. They're up 19. Just over 3 to play in the first half, as expected. And it's been all London. Hurt, the pass, and Herring, the interception and the throwdown. And Cavell Johnson wants to talk things over. The Lightning up 21. Here's Sutherland, out of the timeout. Drives, throws it high off the window, and gets the roll. Trying to get some kind of traction going into the locker room, down 19 now.
Sutherland now with a team high 8 points. But 3 Lightning in double digits as Johnson, Herring Jr., and Williamson 10, 10, and 13 apiece.
Herring, the swing pass inside. Williams Jr., the fadeaway as the shot clock expires and puts it in.
That's a tough shot and a half there.
Difficult look from Kirk Williams Jr.
Smooth stroke though, and able to nail it. And the Lightning keep piling on the points here in the first half.
Hurt saw limited minutes in the first quarter, back into the game now. Catch and shoot 3. No good, but flies in to grab his own rebound. Nice play by Hurt, and the lay-in from Hall.
Good response here for the Titans, who have been able to go back and forth a little bit this frame. It's just that hole that they dug for themselves, and thanks to the Lightning playing as well as they did in that opening quarter, they haven't been able to gain much ground.
Bullet pass across the way to Capers in the corner, back up top to Johnson. 3 to shoot. Johnson walks right in and lays it in. And a turnover and laying it in again. Johnson, 2 buckets in a matter of seconds, and it's a 23-point Lightning lead.
The Lightning just absolutely capitalizing on all these turnovers for KW. That's their 12th turnover of the night. London 14-5 in the scoring category. Might make it 16-5 right here.
Another interception and another bucket for Kyle Johnson.
And an opportunity for one more as he was fouled. And he's doing push-ups, baseline, getting up too. Right in front of some of the executives of the KW Titans at that. You kind of wonder whether he knew.
Wow. Kyle Johnson gets the easy layup, then forces the turnover off the inbounds, and very next trip up the floor, jumps the passing lane again. The throwdown plus the foul. He has a chance to score 7 points in under 20 seconds here.
Yeah, things are really becoming unraveled for the KW Titans. They're just not protecting the basketball, and it's really been a key factor. 16-5 now. The differential with points off those turnovers, which total 13 now.
Hurt for three, puts it in. Mentioned did not play much in that first quarter, but
they need him to step up in a big way. He's been producing, but might try to get a bit more out of him with Ed Horton out of the lineup. Not to mention they're going to need some help from other sources, but right now it's Johnson with another bucket.
Make that 10 points for Johnson in the span of a minute. Starks corner three, it's going to go, but he stepped out. A mental lapse proves to be costly as the ball goes through the mesh that time. It won't count though.
Yeah, these miscues really trickling down to every aspect of the Titans game right now. And you can just see the demoralized look in their stature at the moment. They're really going to have to regroup come halftime. That break can't come soon enough.
(63-37) the score for London.
Good switch here from KW.
Johnson finally misses. The rebound, though, from Boyd, no good.
And a prayer thrown up. He had a good chance of nailing that one. Fortunately for the Titans, though, it ends 63-37 and going into halftime.
Kyle Johnson has 20 points. Garrett Williamson has 13 for the Titans. Derek Hall has 9.
welcome back to the Odd for the second half between the Lightning and Titans. Ian and Dan with you on this Sunday afternoon, and it was all London in the first half. Kyle Johnson leading the way, 20 points, and it seemed like 7 of them came in just under a minute towards the end of that second half.
As KW Titans coming out with their starting 5 to start the second half of Darren Duncan, Shamar Sutherland, Greg Morrow, Justin Hurt, and Derek Hall. That starting 5, they've been dealt their fair share of tough defense, to be sure. As that pass zipped inside for Hall, he can't handle it. It's another turnover, 15 on the evening for, or afternoon rather, for KW. London outscoring the Titans 17-5 in that category, and that's one of the main reasons why the Lightning are up what they are, 63-37 to begin the third.
Well, they're known for that, using defense to create offense, and especially with Kyle Johnson, we saw in that short span late in the second quarter, scored on the easy layup off the inbounds, jumped in there, scored an easy layup. Very next play, and one dunk off the turnover.
And those looks are the reason why the Lightning shooting 52% at the half. KW, though, scuffling at 36.6%. Not a player in double digits, whereas the Lightning have 3, and it's Kyle Johnson, the former Olympian, with the game-high 20 next to his name.
Entry pass to Williamson, working his way in on Sutherland, and scores. Williamson was the leading scorer after quarter number 1. With that bucket, he's at 15 now.
Williamson with 15 and 6 rebounds, so he could very well end up with a double-double here tonight at least. And Morrow is trying to keep his team at a level pace here. Nice response.
Bolden backing in on Hall, and up top to Johnson. Back to Bolden. A left-hand dribble. Drives. Can't get it to drop.
Derek Hall giving him the inside lane. That time just didn't get the friendly roll. A good take, though.
Duncan trying to swing inside for a Hall. First shot won't go. Neither does the second. Mo Bolden draped all over him. He had 4 blocks in the second quarter alone as Williamson hits the runner in transition the other way.
And that's a nice switch there, going from his right to left hand, and mixed up Morrow a little bit defensively. As again, he combines that with some good speed, taking it right to the hole and laying it in.
Duncan out to Hall. Pump fakes. Drives, draws the double team, in trouble. Hall out to Sutherland. The look for 3 is good.
Most people concede with having bodies around you, that's a tough pass to make. But the fact that Hall was leaning with momentum, going out of bounds, and having to thread that pass between those 2 defenders, get it back up top to even get Sutherland a chance for that shot, that's some outstanding stuff from the big man, showing some good dexterity. And why he's probably one of the best, if not the best, post players in the entire league.
Williamson, the drive, draws the foul, and he'll head to the line for 2. It looks like it's going to be Greg Morrow.
And that's his second personal.
No one really in foul trouble going to the half. No one with more than 1 foul, so that certainly has not been the issue. Imagine Cavell Johnson was more stressing on defense and turnovers.
And ball protection, exactly right. By this point, down 25 points. It's been said time and again, but playing with pride too, and that could certainly help execution a lot of the time. Just that finer attention to detail, which necessarily hasn't been there this afternoon on a consistent enough basis. And that time, just a good-looking shot as Mo Bolden with his first 3, or rather his second 3 of the afternoon.
Just his second bucket. Both his buckets coming via the 3. 6 points now. Hurt rattles one in on his own. A quiet afternoon, relatively speaking, for him. Just 7 points. Herring drives, flips it up, gets it to drop, plus the foul. Doug Herring Jr. a chance for a 3-point play.
Herring Jr. now up to 12 points and was using some body English there to try to get it to roll in his favor. Cavell Johnson looking for an explanation there on that foul call, but he's not going to put much of an argument forth to this official, and that official being the crew chief, Chris Delaney, Mike Hardy, and Tony Turnbull rounding out that trio.
Herring can't convert the and one. Johnson grabs the offensive rebound. Williamson down low is stopped.
Herring now 3 for 5 from the charity stripe.
Morrow, difficult shot with the left hand and draws the foul. It's going to go on Ryan Anderson. He picks up his second.
And while we have a moment, certainly more so for those KW Titans fans, to check out the fans' Facebook page at KW Titans Fans is what you can use in the search bar, and certainly a good platform. And for those passionate about this local team, as they're trying to build some more momentum in terms of that following, and certainly good to see that there is such a dedicated group behind this second-year franchise, which recently was announced as apparently dedicated towards a third year, which is good to hear with such strong basketball roots in this region.
Bolden over Morrow, drops it in. Sutherland on the inside. Looks like he almost traveled, but ends up getting it out to Morrow. Hall under the bucket and lays it in.
Talking about post players, had a chance to speak briefly with Deputy Commissioner Audley Stevenson, who's in attendance here this afternoon, asking about Mo Bolden's 4 second-quarter blocks in terms of any potential NBL Canada record there, as there's another 3-ball, and the Lightning just absolutely feeling it at the moment, freewheeling. And to his knowledge, the quarter-to-quarter record is not really there in the archives, so we'll just have to take it as a very outstanding performance for the Lightning player, Mo Bolden.
Johnson, the drive, difficult look won't go, goes off Williamson and out, so KW basketball. Marcus Capers checking back into the game as Ryan Anderson heads off. It certainly was a show in that second quarter.
Ahmad Starks set to check back in. Darren Duncan having himself a tough afternoon, putting up a lot of minutes here. 3 assists, 3 rebounds, but just the 2 points. Again, with Ed Horton sidelined. Uncle Ed, as he was dubbed in his time in London. The veteran not in the fold here today.
Starks doing some great things his last few games. 21 and 16 in his last 2 games respectively. And that time it's Justin Hurt knocking one down from outside. 78-51. Williamson out to Johnson again for 3, but that one misses. Bolden, the offensive rebound. Pretty pass for Johnson and the finish.
A Showtime no-look pass there for the Lightning, and boy, they're getting it every which way this afternoon, just having their way right now with KW. It's really gotten ugly.
Starks, mentioned coming off that big 21-point outing. It's Hall finishing inside.
A bit of a stare down there with the official, as Hall thought he was worthy of a foul call there, but able to still put it back. We'll have a substitution with Boyd checking back in for the aforementioned Mo Bolden. But we're seeing really how much KW is hurting due to their lack of size inside. No one really to contest the front pairing of the London Lightning, not to mention the quickness that this London team is showing. Just really unmatched to this point, not to mention that kind of shooting right there.
Kyle Johnson on another level this afternoon.
Well, at this point, Cavell Johnson just going to let them play it out, figure this out on their own, because down what you are at the moment, nearly 30 points, 29 to be exact. There's nothing really that a timeout's necessarily going to solve at this point.
Lemon's number 42, Julian Boyd, his second, team's second. Now will take us.
We're going to have a media timeout, though, so indirect break here as Cavell Johnson will talk it over with his team.
We'll announce our winning 50-50 number. If you got this ticket, you won $585. Ticket number is 36400. 36400. You can pick your prize up at Boston Pizza Fan Services behind Section 3. Also a reminder to all the kids who want to participate in the YMCA at the end of the third quarter, start making your way down to the floor. The dance pack will meet you at either end behind the basket and warm you up for the third quarter YMCA. But right now, get on your feet and make some noise. It's time to win some prizes. Our volunteers are going to be throwing mini balls out in the stands, but only to the loudest and craziest Titans fans. So if you happen to get one of the orange Titans mini balls, have a look. If it is signed by Titus, our mascot, you won a prize pack from the Titans. There are 2 signed mini balls today, so have a look. If you got it, you are the winner of a Titans prize pack. Also, a special thank you once again to the Carpenters Union Local 785. The first 1,000 people here to today's game all received a free first aid kit. Thank you again to Carpenters Union Local 785.
Still 5:42 to go in the third quarter. London continuing their domination. They're up the same they were at the half, 29 points the difference. Hall passes that to no one, and a turnover right at the timeout, a coach's nightmare.
And the Lightning have been a nightmare for KW here this afternoon. Without Royce White, we mentioned earlier, serving the 1-game suspension due to the accumulation of technical fouls. Also without the services of Joel Fries and Laddie, the Canadian, scratched and not receiving official word as to the reason why, but 2 bodies not available to head coach Keith Vassell back in his first game behind the bench or on the bench after serving his suspension as well.
Starks drops the long 2.
And I'd be curious how long they wait to start showing their bench.
Usually the fourth quarter is what we've seen from London. If they've got a big lead like this, usually they sit their starters for the entire fourth, unless something crazy happens and they get some momentum, then they'll bring them right back in. But for now, it looks like they're going to let them play them out. Boyd drills the 3. Morrow, the look from outside, but can't respond with 3 of his own.
And Boyd 2 for 2 from beyond the arc after that latest hoop. There's a nice step in, though, from Morrow at the other end.
Great job jumping in the passing lane cleanly. Hurt, open look, transition 3, rims out.
Well, KW needs points, and they're obviously going to be looking for more of them from beyond the arc.
Doug Herring Jr. An explosive effort so far today, 15 points. Boyd, contested 3, puts it in over Justin Hurt.
Not contested enough, though, as there was just enough spacing for him to let it fly. And now Boyd, as you said, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. 11 points as he's the 4th player now from the London Lightning in double digits.
Hall leaves it for Morrow, and getting
block.
back for the block was Capers, but they'll count it. Goaltending on the Lightning.
I just thought he got there a split second before, but as you said, the official giving the bucket to the Titans. And certainly appreciate the update again from Mr. De La Costa, always a reliable source, and can't say enough about the passion he exudes for this NBL Canada, and providing an update on Joel Fries and Laddie, suffering from a concussion, that is. So we again appreciate the update on the injury front. And certainly appreciate everyone tuning in live on YouTube this afternoon. Unfortunately, the live chat function causing some issues here on our end at the Memorial Auditorium, so feel free to continue sending us those comments or questions for the rest of this broadcast via Twitter at IanJodry34 or at Dan Polishuk is where you can find both of us.
Here's Johnson. The pull-up won't go. He's had a heck of an afternoon, but off the mark that time. Hurt crossing over, throws up the difficult shot, and he'll head to the stripe for 2. Looks like that one's going to go on Johnson, which would be his first.
Foul on Lightning, number 42.
It's actually on Julian Boyd. That's his 3rd, so a little bit more concern there with that. They're going to bring in a fresh face in Yohani D'Alembert, getting his first minutes of the day.
And it's kind of appropriate that his right arm sleeve has a picture of some stars and rockets and outer space scenery, because he certainly has been shooting out of this world right now. The last couple of minutes, back-to-back 3s, and doing so, looking very impressively. Confident-looking stroke, and now Hurt, not so much from the free throw line.
Would you say he's maybe on another planet? Hurt, good on the second free throw.
I think I want to fall into a black hole right now, or we both have fallen into a black hole. Ashton
Smith also into the game for London. Here's Dallenberg in his first touch of the day. Johnson, watched by Sutherland, but rolls off the screen from Dallenberg. Back up top, Smith drives. Pass tipped up in the air by Hall, and it's Dominic Phillips who gets two hands on it. Hall down low on Dallenberg, muscles his way in, and he'll earn his way to the free throw line for a pair.
Dominic Phillips now seeing some second half minutes, and it was limited time on the floor in the first half. 7 minutes went scoreless, just with one rebound, an assist, and a steal. As Hall drains his first free throw. And we would be remiss not to point out, obviously, the KW Titans not wearing their customary white and blue jerseys here this afternoon, as they are wearing their, for the second year in a row, in fact, Canadian military camo jerseys. We'll have more on that after the sequence.
Capers, the drive into the corner. Williams Jr. open look in the corner, won't go, but Capers grabs the rebound and the easy bucket. Back to a 30-point London lead.
And London also pressing a little bit here, forcing the stretch pass.
Hall drops off for Phillips. Hall thought about it, why not? But no good from three.
Well, the big man can hit it, as we said before. He's missing in that instance.
Johnson, contested look, and drops it in. Ice water in his veins this afternoon. Kyle Johnson having a day.
Oh, goodness me. 30 points now for Kyle Johnson. As that one throwing up, hitting the top of the backboard now.
Smith the board. They're going to go back to him. Why not? Johnson again for three. Puts it in. Oh, baby. Kyle Johnson. It's been his building today. 96-60 London all over the Titans.
And just a reminder that commemorative jerseys that the Titans are wearing will be going up for auction at 4 o'clock today. The auction will be open for 1 week at kwtitans.com. Go on, place a bid on one of these game-worn jerseys to help support a hero. That's brought to you by Carpenters Union Local 785 and Reynolds for Heroes. As well, a reminder, Waterloo Taxi is the official taxi of the KW Titans. You can get $2 off your fare going to or from Titans home games with Waterloo Taxi. Also, 2 more birthdays. Happy birthday to Jefferson, turning 41, and Ethan, who's celebrating his 10th birthday.
Nigel Titer and Anthony Miles have checked in for Kitchener-Waterloo. It's the same 5 that were out prior to the timeout for London. That's Johnson, Williams Jr., Smith, Capers, and Dallenberg. As that time it's Dallenberg pulling off the board. And Smith up top.
Kyle Johnson, 33 points this afternoon. That's a new season high. His previous high of 31 back on December the 17th against the St. John's Edge. But boy, he's coming out firing on all cylinders here today to lead his team, and both teams, in fact, in the scoring category. Doing it from long range and from in close.
That time, the rebound. And back out to Johnson again. The miss. A third opportunity, though, for the Lightning. Johnson has it on the wing. Sutherland draped all over him. Leaves it for Williams Jr., the Euro step, and draws the foul. Nigel Titer called for his first.
Going to take one final look across the NBL Canada. It's the Island Storm, having pulled away 116-99. They win it over the Cape Breton Highlanders. The Hurricanes also coming out with a convincing 102-72 win over the St. John Riptide. And here, obviously, much the same story. So we'll probably have 3 one-sided, lopsided, whatever you want to say, victories this afternoon, as with 45.2 seconds remaining in the third, it's going to be Denzel James coming in for Tramar Sutherland.
45 ticks left in the third quarter, and the Lightning have their biggest lead of the day at 37 points. Starks rolls off the screen, pulls up for 3. Can't get the roll. Tighter, the offensive rebound, and an over-the-back foul. It's going to go on Johnson. That's just the first for Johnson. And the Lightning still have one to give if ever they need it. The final 31 seconds. Phillips the drive, finds a lane, and the rejection, but it looks like they're going to call that a foul indeed. Thought it might have been goaltending. D'Alembert got back for the rejection, and indeed he's going to get charged with his first foul.
And D'Alembert wearing number 12, in case you're wondering at home. Yeah, you're in the notes. At one point, we're number 10 on the season, so this is your first London Lightning game of the season. Keep that in mind.
And if it is your first London Lightning game this season, there'll probably be plenty for you to watch in April.
No doubt about that.
They're on pace to take on the 4th-seeded Niagara River Lions in the opening round unless St. John's Edge are able to pull off a late-season push. They've only got 3 games left. Capers has Denzel James all over him. About a 1.8-second differential. Game clock, shot clock. Johnson, 3. Good! Kyle Johnson again. 36 through 3. What a day for him. And the Lightning are all over the Titans. 100-61. A 39-point London lead after 36 minutes.
All right, fans, get on your feet.
Final quarter from the odd. A 39-point London lead, and large in part thanks to 36 from Kyle Johnson.
Oh, and it's not even his career high. 51 being the record for him personally anyways. And we were talking about both things during, and specifically that, during that latest timeout. Is he still going to see minutes in this fourth quarter? And, well, right now anyways, he's not.
A few starters, though, on in the fourth quarter. So it'll be interesting to see. Denzel James hit that three-pointer, and there's a foul away from the ball. So the Titans, best case scenario there, the three and possession of the basketball. Duncan into the corner. Phillips, three, no good. Williamson runs into James, but holds up, works down low. Dallenberg puts it in. Up and around, Nigel Titer doing it off the bench. He just came in late in that third quarter. Duncan rolling off that screen from Titer up top. James thought about it. It's back out to Duncan with 10 to shoot. No look pass. Titer lays it in. Nice finish from Titer. 102-66. Ashton Smith drops off. Kirk Williams Jr. The pass intercepted by Phillips, but rolls out of his hands and stays with London. Shot clock does not reset. Smith, the fadeaway is short. Phillips, the bounce pass. Titer gets it to roll. Back-to-back buckets now for Nigel Titer.
Rattles in for the big man there, as he's probably going to see some extended minutes. With the London Lightning now over the century mark and looking to make it an even dozen in terms of a win streak against the KW Titans. KW has not beaten London since January the 8th of last year. That's 6 games last year to wrap up and 5 more this year that they've beaten KW in, and it's looking like it's going to be win number 6 on this season.
Smith, the drive, the difficult adjustment, and lays it in. Nice bucket from Ashton Smith.
And it certainly turned into an emotional rivalry, but play on the court has been undoubtedly one-sided, as KW still trying to establish their culture and establish some winning ways, but London Lightning light years ahead of them in that regard right now, having been in the league obviously a number of more years.
Williamson, as the lead hits 40. Titans have not beat the Lightning since January 2017.
Yep, January the 8th to be specific, or 7th rather.
And I believe they only have one matchup left this year. And
the Titans are, I'm sure, thankful for that. That's a home game coming on March the 27th, as London will be back in just over a week's time, as KW will wrap up their second season here at the Memorial Auditorium with games against the Lightning and the Windsor Express on March the 31st.
And both are going for clean season series sweeps, all 8 games. Smith, entry pass. Williams has that one poked away by Phillips. Nice job to create the turnover. Phillips in transition, tries to work it in the corner. Morrow back up top for Phillips. Mo Bolden and
Capers coming in soon.
Capers going to check back in, but still no sign of Kyle Johnson. James for 3 is short.
I think it's going to be the end of his night. Coaching staff having a bit of a word with him at the moment.
Williamson, as Phillips diving at him, but a foul is going to be called. Williams Jr. limping to the bench.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a collision there. And you're right. Not putting much weight on that right leg of his and grimacing from the pain as he's being attended to now. So we started talking about it sooner, or earlier rather, in the third quarter, how KW wearing their camouflage jerseys for the 2nd year in a row. That's in support of the Canadian Heroes Foundation. As again, there is a silent auction going online beginning at 4 p.m. if you visit kwtitans.com, where you can purchase these jerseys yourself. And all the proceeds go to Renos for Heroes, which provide building services to improve lives of injured Canadian soldiers and their families. So they had a pregame ceremony of one of the main individuals involved with that, who who understandably got quite emotional speaking about what they do and the great work that they do. So certainly hop online to show your support in that regard.
Phillips rattles in number 1. Phillips, a late season acquisition, making his 9th appearance with KW. Good on both that time. Capers had that one kicked, so it'll stay Lightning basketball. Herring trying to use that screen from Mo Bolden. The step back is good.
Good looking shot there again.
41 the lead for the Lightning. It's the biggest it's been today.
And the largest deficit that KW has faced this season.
Morrow the miss. Gets the ball back though, puts it up and lays it in. Morrow playing some gritty basketball today, like what he's bringing to the table, but it's most likely going to get overlooked based on the final score in this one. Capers back up top. Bolden drives, leaves it. Johnson back on the court and drills the 3. 39 now for Kyle Johnson. Just when you thought his day was over.
He's hungry for more. He had his appetizer and main course. Now he's looking for some dessert.
We mentioned 51 was the career high. What do you think, Dan? Reaching it?
7 minutes, 8 seconds. Oh, depending on if he stays on the floor, he's got a good shot at it. But I'm curious to see how much longer they allow him to chase that. It's a fine line. As the coaching staff, you still have to have some sort of respect for your opponent. And at the end of the day, you're going to come away with a W. He's pieced together a good night.
It's not like the overtime game earlier this week where Royce White and Bruce Massey Jr. were dropping 40-plus each in a tightly contested game. It's very lopsided.
And certainly, I'm sure London Lightning fans are saying the opposite. Essentially, if you want to not see him score any more points, play some defense. Always the flip side of the coin, but ultimately, the London Lightning are in full control of the situation.
Absolutely. And as much as fans would also like to see him try and break that career high, you also don't want him to face potential injury in a situation like this, up 36.
London Lightning having handed both of KW's worst losses to them this season. There's a nice putback from Bolden. And the most significant of those losses, a 34-point win for the Lightning back on February the 11th. And this is certainly going to eclipse that, especially with buckets like that raining down.
Phillips, good performance so far this fourth quarter. Hit the step back Jay earlier for the and one and then drops that 3. Dixon Green goes right to the hoop, kick out.
Going to nobody.
James in transition, Starks and the block. Getting up for it that time was Marcus Capers, and the throwdown from Dixon Green the other way.
A swat at one end and again converting to points at the other. That transition basketball is absolutely unreal. Tighter can't squeeze it. Now trying to get up, they allow him to do so.
Tighter backing into the corner. Morrow swinging outside to James. Just over 5 left in regulation. Had it poke loose, but right into the hands of Starks. Swings it across Morrow. James, open 3. No good. But Phillips, a third chance for KW. And he'll draw the foul. I gotta like what I'm seeing this fourth quarter from Dominic Phillips. Grinding out there.
Well, that's the thing. When they brought him on board, they knew they had a real raw talent here in Dominic Phillips. But he's proven how hungry he is. In that instance, he's rewarded for it with some free throws coming up.
Phillips, no good on number one.
Still kind of surprised to see Kyle Johnson out there as he steps in the box now.
Phillips misses both. Herring Jr., 14 points, 11 assists, so he's got a double-double. Bolden, 3 boards shy. And Williamson, 1 board shy of a double-double of his own. Phillips leaves it. Morrow, James, drains the short look.
James up to 6 on the afternoon in limited minutes. $22 points off of turnovers for the London Lightning. KW with 19 in total this half.
Johnson had an open look for 3, didn't take it. Takes the step back and puts that in. 42 now for Kyle Johnson.
Foul call away from the play. And it's Smith coming out. Johnson, I think, is finally going to check out for the final time today. 4:16 to go, and what an afternoon for this young man. A season best. And he's going to be waved down here by his teammate Williamson. At the sight to see as he's walking with open arms by Boyd and a few others. What a day. Kyle Johnson, 39 points, 4 assists, in just over 34 minutes. Or rather, 42 points in just over 34 minutes.
Shooting 70% from beyond the arc. Draining 17 of his 24 field goals. What an afternoon for him. 35 points, the lead for London too. Capers into the corner for Williams Jr. Drives, don't count the basket. He'll have 2 free throws. It's gonna go on Phillips. His third.
Well, you gotta love the fact that without your main man and Royce White not in the lineup, the depth really stepped it up and really showed its dominance. They're not a one-player team, that's for sure, are the London Lightning, and we sure got another example of that today. Although they were led by Kyle Johnson, you've got 4 players in double digits. Garrett Williamson, no slouch himself, with 20 points here this half, along with 9 rebounds. And then Doug Herring Jr. with a double-double with 14 and 11.
Hall, back out. Phillips, 3. It's good.
3 for 5 from beyond the arc is Phillips this half. And he's having maybe one of his best games as a Titan this half.
13 points for him now. At that time, Morrow's called for his 3rd foul. Corner 3, Dixon Green won't go. Kyle Arsenault into the game, in transition, gets the layup to drop. His first points of the day.
And go back to Dominic Phillips. His season high is 21, so not sure if he'll get that at the stop with just 3 minutes to go, but all-around game has been there, as he's also contributed 3 dimes and 3 steals too. Some good aggressiveness defensively with the steals and creating as well, aside from putting up some points.
Arsenault catch and shoot 3 is no good. Every one of the Titans active roster getting in on the scoring now today. Just 2.5 to go. Dixon Green for 3, no good. The lead was up to 41. Titans have been able to trim it down to 30 with London starters on the bench. Phillips trying to split the D, draws the foul. It's going to go on Ashton Smith, which is his first. Phillips doing a good job running his way to the free throw line in this one, and going out to play in the 4th quarter. Nigel Titer has checked back into the ball game as well. Phillips misses his first free throw.
And with team high 17 points for the Titans, Greg Morrow having really one of the best games, not only of his career, but really of this season against his hometown London Lightning team.
Capers, left-hand dribble. Dallenberg down low on Titer. And it looks like he dragged his pivot foot. Indeed he did. That'll be a travel called against Dallenberg.
If you were to choose a player of the game for KW, it would be Greg Morrow alongside his 17 points and 8 rebounds, pulling down 30 minutes of play. He really gained the confidence of Val Johnson and his predecessor, Serge Langis. And he leads the team in that stat category as well with 30 minutes played.
5 to shoot. James, the runner, won't get the roll. Tried to save it along the baseline. It'll be London ball.
Lightning content here to wind down this clock. 5 on the shot clock.
Capers the miss, Dallenberg the offensive rebound, and Titer called for his second foul.
Foul for the Titans, number 34, Nigel Titer. That is his second team's.
Kind of a disappointing end to this celebratory day, as again the team showing their support for the Canadian military here on Military Day. But a bounce back game will be in order, as KW will look to do so next week, next Wednesday in fact.
Phillips drains the transition jumper.
And it's a team they've had some success against, the St. John's Edge, kind of surprisingly so. They matched up well against St. John's, albeit the last time those two teams played, Carl English was pretty much stifled. So that's going to be key again if KW looks to rebound off this debilitating loss. Oh, nearly some showtime there.
Looking for the posterizing dunk was Marcus Capers. Instead, Williams Jr. will take the easier two.
Nigel Titer trying to get the come from behind block. Didn't work out there, though.
Phillips the miss, Titer the rebound, and the putback jam. And now the wind down the clock. Capers off the floor and heading to the locker room before the final buzzer even goes.
That's just a poor show of class right there, as Capers just walked right off the floor. And I don't care if you're dealing with an injury or whatnot, you wait for a whistle, at least signal to your bench and your coach.
You usually isn't hard to stand there for 20 seconds while your team doesn't run a play, but there's a team that has the right to do it today. It's the London Lightning. They come in and win this one in convincing fashion. 124-97 the final, but they led by as many as 41 points.
Yeah, and again, I just got to go back to that point. It's a lack of disrespect a little bit there, as Capers walking right off the floor, past the score table, past the deputy commissioner as well, heading to the locker room before the buzzer even sounded, leaving a 5-on-4 situation on the floor. Again, you have to give full credit to the London Lightning, but you know, those slight blemishes put an ugly mark not only on the game but the league in general, so you need to get that taken care of. But either way, the KW Titans really did not look good in today's ball game, and the Lightning led by Kyle Johnson with an unbelievable game himself. Over 40 points in over 35-plus minutes. That young man, the former Olympian, showing why he represented not only his national side, but this afternoon representing this London Lightning oh so well.
To correct my earlier point, London's biggest lead was actually 42. And ironically enough, that is your game high for Kyle Johnson. 70% from beyond the arc. A season-high 42 points.
And a 12-game winning streak now against the KW Titans for the London Lightning. They've got their number, but the KW Titans will have one more shot to maybe break that spell in about just over a week.
You'd like to think by then London might be playing out the season, but it looks like the St. John's Edge will be breathing down their neck for a top spot in the Central Division. The Titans will try and do them a favor on Wednesday. Titans Edge, 7 p.m. We'll be here for that one. I'd like to thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. For Dan Polishchuk, I'm Ian Jodry. Have a good day.